This is the Murder Mamas.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't realize my own strike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a Hercules over here.
Hercules.
Hercules. Do you remember the Nutty Professor?
Yes, of course.
Hercules. Okay.
Yeah. All right, how are you?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. All right, so today we're going to talk about...
Is it weird I didn't ask you how you're doing?
No, because we've been talking, so it's
For an
kind
hour.
of... Yeah. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Lover, Stalker, Killer. And you can find that on Netflix.
You sure can.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride.
It is a wild one. It took me a minute to figure it out, and then I was like, whoa.
I do commend the police work on this one, too.
Yeah, they were actually pretty good. And was it this one they said, the guy was like, I needed a program, so I just wrote one up real quick. And I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do that. I needed a program to be able to track this thing, so I just wrote one up real quick and put it in there. I'm like, yes.
Okay, we'll get to him,
Yeah.
but I have a comment that I want to make about him.
Okay. Okay.
He cracked me up.
He's funny. All right, so...
I didn't take notes.
I did, just because I forget everything.
Lead the way.
So we're starting in 2000, right? I think it's in 2000.
I didn't take notes.
We hear a 911 call come in. At first, I don't remember what the 911 call is about.
Why are you looking at you? What do your notes say?
911 call? So anyway, he's working as a mechanic, and he meets his wife. What is his name? Dave? Dave meets his wife, Anne, or meets his future wife. They fall in love. They start dating. They have kids. They get married, and then they start working like he works days, she works nights, and they start growing apart. And they decide that they're just going to get a divorce, which it sounds like it was like an amicable, like
yeah.
They just grew apart, and they knew that, and so they wanted to just be apart from each other. And she took the kids back to Omaha, Nebraska. And so he decided that he was going to go live in Omaha, Nebraska as well, because he wanted to be around his kids.
Like a not deadbeat.
Yeah, I know. Like this was like, I was like, wow, this is actually a pretty nice story to start off with. Like,
well, and he like has custody of the kids, and the kids visit with him and all that stuff. Too.
Yeah. So I was like, well, this is a good story. So he starts over as a single guy, and he says, his quote was, "I'm wild and free at 35. So I have written down, and I was like, oh boy, here we come.
Oh boy.
So he gets on plenty of fish.
35 is so young.
It is.
Didn't you, vividly remember being like, 35 is like death. Like,
yeah.
That is like you are laying on your deathbed at 35.
Yeah.
And I am rapidly approaching it next year.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm going to do those pictures. I really want to do those pictures.
Yes, we're doing the pictures.
Okay.
I'm so young.
You are.
Like, I have so much. Even you're young.
No.
Yes,
old.
you are.
I am on the way out now.
No, you're not. You're on your deathbed?
I'm on my deathbed.
No, like... It's so young, and it's hard when you're, like, living in life, when you feel like 35 is the end of anything.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I can't make any career changes, or, like, do any of these things. Like,
you're young.
I'm so young.
Yeah.
I'm so young.
Yes.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, how am I, like, a 34-year-old lady, just able to have, like, whole-ass children, and, like... a job and bills and cars and houses.
Like a life that I have.
Like, how am I allowed all of this? I'm a teenager still. Like,
your brain thinks that way.
Sometimes.
Yeah, mine too.
What? Who gave me permission?
No, I don't think I'm 42 or as I'm 42. Nope. So anyway, he's wild and free. he goes on Plenty of Fish, and he says he's not looking for anything serious, and he writes all his profile, and then did you see it? It says like matching with, and it says this many matches, and then it goes, and you've been paired with 0. I was like, oh, you had like 10,000 singles, and then you've been matched with 0. I was like,
I didn't realize Plenty of Fish like matched you with people.
yeah, I don't know how. I've never been on any of those websites.
Like I didn't think that was like a thing.
Yeah, I don't know how those work. I've never been on one. I hope to never be on one. I can't imagine. What would mine be like? Likes to stay at home, does not like other people, kisses dog on mouth.
Has kids, but...
Oh yeah, and has kids.
That's an afterthought.
Don't worry, they won't get in the way. I forgot I even had them.
That's just so funny. I don't know why. I just thought of when Preston was like, Mom, if you died, I'd have to go live with Grandma and Grandpa. Like, he doesn't have a dad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay.
It's so funny. No, that was a pretty spot on, profile.
Yeah.
Likes the beach. You could have that.
Yeah.
You do like the beach.
I do like the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as there's no one in my view.
Walking.
While I'm at the beach.
You like walking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
by myself.
With headphones. And no one around.
With my dog.
Who we just got done kissing on the mouth. Don't make it weird. Alright, move on.
Okay. So then he gets a message from a lady named Liz. And she comes into his life and they start dating.
Yeah, so they start talking and then they go on a first date and he says a bunch of really wonderful, nice things about Liz.
Yeah.
How she was like the life of the party and they were going to bars and they were going downtown.
Yeah, they showed a lot of fun videos of...
Yeah, I was like, wow, that looks fun. She was riding a bull.
Yeah.
She was doing all kinds of stuff.
Fell off the bull.
She did fall off the bull.
Yeah, so they were getting together and they were having fun, and I don't think it was anything like neither one of them seemed like it was something serious, so they were just like out there having a good time. And then he says he's at his shop one day and a customer pulls up and her name is Carrie, and he says, oh, she looks really pretty, but this is my shop, and so I'm just being a professional here. And they start talking, and so then she leaves, and then he happens to find her on Plenty of Fish, or she finds him on Plenty of Fish, and sends him a message and says something like, hey, I know you, and then she sends a message back and says, hey, I know you too.
Yeah. Like I was like, how did they find each other?
Yeah, it was on Plenty of Fish. Yeah.
But I'm like, how, of all the people.
Right.
I guess Omaha, Nebraska stuff.
Not that big. Sorry. Not that big.
Yeah.
So they start dating, and Carrie worked 3 blocks from his apartment, so it was nice. Like, if she got off work late, she could go over to his apartment and just stay, because she only worked 3 blocks away from him instead of having to drive all the way home.
A few things I want to mention about his relationship with Carrie.
Yeah.
Because we got into it in a few minutes. Mm-hmm. But he says a lot about how like, they started talking and hanging out together. And then he mentions, like, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
How he just left his house and gave her a kiss and went to work.
Right.
And I'm like...
Yeah, I think that's because the proximity thing. Right.
That's, like, really fast.
Right. It is very fast.
For a 35-year-old man.
Right.
Like, if you were a 20-year-old, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But, like, that's really fast.
Right.
To,
I think
like,
so, too.
Have someone you don't know in your home.
Yeah. I wouldn't like that. There's no way I would leave somebody in my home that I didn't know.
You're not even spending the night, baby. Like, get the fuck out. I was leaving my own bed, bitch.
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. We are way too old for that shit.
Absolutely. So I just, like, that was something I caught, and I was like,
I think that's because, like, they because she made it, like, clear that it was only 3 blocks away from her house that she was work. So, like, I think that's why she was staying. I don't know.
Still,
but yeah, 2 weeks is not a long time.
You're not bringing a toothbrush with you.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Not yet. Yeah.
So that's after he leaves the house.
Oh, that's
remember?
Right. Okay.
And
yes.
I don't remember what she says. Oh, we skipped the part where Liz shows up at the house.
Oh, yeah.
At his apartment.
See each other. Yes.
And he has to go back upstairs and be like, this is super fucking awkward, but she's saying you have to leave. And then he goes and stays at her house.
Right. Because Liz came in, got whatever she needed to get, and then Carrie was already halfway back to her house. And so he called her, and she was like, well, I'm already halfway back to my house. Why don't you just come over and stay with me? So then they hang out, and then he starts getting these messages from...
So then, that was like... There's like a few days in between these time spans.
Right.
So Carrie had spent the night. He got up early for work, and then he left, which is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Okay. And so then he leaves, and then he starts getting these messages from Carrie that was like, doesn't he kind of say, she's like, we should move in together.
Yes, that's
and
right.
And he's like,
didn't we discuss that?
Yeah, like
we had made it clear.
Yeah, like this is not what that is.
Right.
And he says, even before he could hit send, like it seemed like it was even before the message had been sent and received, he's just getting like a barrage of these messages, like, fuck you, you asshole. Like, really, really terrible things.
Yeah. Like, just a bunch of messages. So, then we meet Nancy, Carrie's mom, right?
Yes.
And she is like, sometimes sometimes Carrie goes off, but like, she's never, because we don't hear from Carrie for a couple days. Like, Dave keeps getting text messages from her, but like, Nancy doesn't know where her daughter is. We don't see Carrie. Like, we don't know where she's at. We just see that she's getting text messages to Dave, and Dave's freaking out. So Nancy files a missing persons report against her daughter saying, hey, I haven't seen her. I think Carrie texted her like once or twice and said something like, I need to be on my own. I need to do this by myself, or I need to be by myself for a while, which is weird because she has a child that she just left with her mom. So like, don't you think that like, that just seems totally weird to me. Like, she was becoming worried, but I was like, if your mom doesn't come back for the kid, like, wouldn't you be like more worried? Like, I think I'd be like overly like, hey, let's get something going here. I haven't seen my daughter. Like, she texted me, but I have her child. Like, hello. So I thought that was weird. So she files a missing persons report, and Nancy started getting messages on Facebook from Carrie saying that she needed space and that she needed to just be by herself for a while. So that's why she wasn't in town, or that's why she didn't come to see anybody. And then
I'm waiting to see a picture of the baby. I'm really distracted.
You are distracted.
My sister-in-law just had a baby. I'm really distracted. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. You gotta carry us this time.
Okay. I can't do that.
Well, no pressure, but...
So then Liz comes over and, like, re-enters the picture. Like, she wasn't really in the picture for a while.
No, so, like, she's kind of out of the picture.
For a while.
And then her house?
Her car gets keyed.
Yes. So
Liz comes over to Dave's and was like, hey, come outside. I want to show you something. And her car is keyed from like the back all the way to the front. And they're like, oh my God, Carrie did this. Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And so
things just kind of escalate. Like, there's all these instances, messages. It's like thousands. And he says at one point that there's so many different phone numbers that are...
How did she do that?
I have no idea. That are sending him messages and
he can't
texts
keep
and
up
emails.
with blocking
Like,
them.
he can't even keep up with blocking them. I'm like, this is insane.
That's insane.
I also want to mention that, like, being stalked is awful.
Oh.
I think it is, like, the worst torture
I
any
can't
person could go
imagine,
through.
like, going through all that. Like, just being on your toes all the time,
All the
wondering where this
time.
person is, wondering what they're going to do next.
Oh, I don't know if this has happened yet, but the text where, like, I'm at my new address.
Oh, yeah.
And it was his apartment building, number 12. So he, like, gets out of his apartment and he's walking and there's no number 12. Like,
no number 12.
It's just this psychological warfare.
Yeah.
So this is going on for a while, and then just things sort of, like, escalate a little bit.
Yeah. And so Liz's house bursts into flames. All of her animals perish in the fire, which I was like devastated. I think she had a dog, a cat, and a snake or something. So I was horrified by that. And so she goes over to Dave and I think she kind of wanted to move in with Dave. I think that's like she was trying to wiggle herself in to like move in with him. I don't know why. I don't know why. Or did she go somewhere else?
I don't know what the motive. Well,
Yeah.
dang it.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he says expressly, like, it was really sad that her animals died.
I think so too.
He says expressly that they, that she left. Like,
Right.
she packed her bags and left. And so he's like, I got the same idea. Like, I needed to move away.
Yeah.
So, again, like, she leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, Carrie keeps getting, Dave keeps getting messages from Carrie, and she starts texting him pictures of the inside of Liz's house. This is before the fire. And so now he was like, oh my God, Carrie is inside her house. Like, her children live there, her pets live there. Mm-hmm. And then the house fire happens, and they're like freaking out because this is like too much. Like, it's not just text, it's escalated to actual fire and arson and death. So his relationship with Liz kind of rekindles after this, and they start hanging out more, and they're like together, I guess.
I love how Dave says, she's the real victim in this.
Yeah.
And then, like, it brought us back together. I'm like, okay, so she's the real victim, and you're just like, let's just add some fuel to the fire, for like lack of a better term.
Yep. Yeah.
But then they separate.
They do.
And he moves away to, I can't remember where.
Okay, so the stalking went, like, this is going on for over, like, a year. Like, this is years in the making.
So then he moves.
1 year later. Changes phones and got a new job.
Yeah, he moves to a different area, too.
Yes. Okay.
And he goes immediately back to online dating.
Right. Oh, yes.
I'm like,
yes.
bro.
I was wondering when we were going with that. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. If that wasn't enough, that would turn me off so fast. Like, I would never get on the computer again if that happened.
Bro. So you have uprooted your entire life.
Right.
Like, someone burned down a house.
Yeah.
Because of you.
Yeah.
And online dating.
And then you get right back on.
So you're just like right back to it.
Yeah.
With zero chill. So then he connects with someone. They start talking, and then they set up a date, and that person doesn't show.
Yeah.
And then they don't show. And they're like, I'm running late. And then they send a message that says, this is Carrie.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit, I let her right back in. I'm like, yes, you did. Yeah. And you're stupid.
Yeah.
So.
And then we find out, like, I think this is really funny, that Carrie has bipolar disorder. And so this is why she's probably doing all these bad things. And I was like, well, that's not the whole. But so they're thinking, because nobody's seen Carrie, and she has bipolar. Her medicine is still at home. They're wondering where the hell she is because she hasn't been taking her meds. So, like, is this because she's not taking her meds that she's doing all these weird things? Like, do we need to find her? Is she going through a mental state? Like, we need to, like, figure this shit out. Okay, so now Amy, his ex-wife, that's the mother of his children, gets a hold of this and was like, I don't want the kids going over to your house. Like, this is ridiculous. If you want to see the kids, that you have to come here to my house. And things get kind of scary because, like, it's...
The part where she's at the park with the kids.
Yeah.
And then she's getting messages like, I see you pushing her on the swing.
Yeah. No, it's really bad.
That's off. Like, it's really scary.
Yep. And then she said she also threatened to slit the kid's throat as well in one of the text messages.
Yes.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
The saddest thing I saw was or the saddest part about that was the little boy sleeping on the couch with a baseball bat.
Oh, yeah.
And being like, I'm going to protect you.
I know. That's really sad.
Aww.
Yeah. So Dave gets a pistol because he's like sick of this shit. You remember that? He gets a gun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, his dad does it.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
His dad.
And at this point, Carrie's been texting for well over a year to Dave, but nobody knows where she is still. Bank records show that nothing is going on with her. Her social security number has not been used.
So this is what the police start finding. The police, there's like two different officers or like investigators working on it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we have a lot of this stuff, but everything's online. Like, everything is digital. No one's seen Carrie.
No.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
So, like, how do we get more information?
Right.
And then that's when they bring in my favorite guy.
I don't forget his name. But...
So do I.
Yeah.
Did I cut you off?
No. Todd.
And he was an IT specialist.
Yes, he's an IT specialist.
Who also was like a volunteer cop. You know, like a volunteer with the police department.
Yes.
I think they said they paid him $1 a year to look at their forensic crimes, like their digital forensic crimes.
Yep.
So he starts looking at everything, and he's looking at all of the different IP addresses that all of this. Again, there is
millions,
hundreds of thousands.
I have millions of IP addresses written down.
Yeah, so a lot of IP addresses.
Yeah.
So he goes, I needed something that could sort all the IP addresses. So I just had to make it.
Yeah.
And I called it Dex.
I thought that was awesome.
I also really appreciated him talking about his breakfast. And he was like, this is my Soylent. And I'm also on the spectrum, which is why I eat the same things every day.
He's pretty good.
He got a little bit of the tism.
Yeah.
But he does. So he's able to narrow it down to like 13,000 IEP addresses. Mm-hmm. And then he's able to continue just like drilling down from there.
Yeah.
And they find that there's one IP address that is connected to a house in the area. Mm-hmm. And the owner of that house is...
Let's take a quick break.
You love listening to podcasts, but have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Maybe you want to build a brand, grow your business, or are looking for an excuse to talk about your favorite hobby. Whatever your reason for making a podcast, Buzzsprout is the place to start. Since 2009, Buzzsprout has helped over 300,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout walks you step by step through the whole process and will give you powerful tools to start, grow, and monetize your podcast. Ready to get started? Click the link in the show notes to get our free step-by-step guide to starting your podcast today.
Todd.
Yeah. This guy's name is Todd.
So the owner of that house, his name is Todd, and he is also an IT specialist. Mm-hmm. And the investigator who's doing all of this is his boss.
Yes.
So now they're like, holy shit.
Yeah. And Todd is dating Liz.
There you go.
Sorry. Damn it. See, I don't...
So the police are like, we have to hide all these files because, again, he's like an IT specialist, so he's able to find all these things.
Yeah.
Because they needed to get a search warrant and able to search his house. So they're suspecting that there's foul play.
Right.
But they also are like, this is the person who has been tormenting this family for years at this point.
Yes.
So they get the search warrant, they go to his house, and they discover that he has been on again, off again with a live-in girlfriend who is Liz.
Which is like, what? I was like, what the hell?
I audibly gasped. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was like,
at that point, like, I still thought Carrie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? So now the police are like, okay, we're pretty sure Liz is doing this.
Yeah.
But, like, what about Carrie? Where is Carrie?
Yeah.
And they find a photo of Carrie's car, and, like, her car had gone missing in December and then was discovered in January of that following year.
But the picture had proved that it was
like that time
before the car had gone missing.
Yes.
So how did she get a picture? How did Liz get a picture of Carrie's car before it went missing? And why does she have that on her camera roll?
Yes. So then they start to like look at all the evidence from when the car was, what's the word I'm looking for?
Seized?
No, not seized.
Searched?
Like processed. That's what they call it, right? Processed. Yeah. And they find a fingerprint on a mint container. Yeah. On the center console that matches Liz's fingerprint.
And she's in the police station. They call her into the police station. And that was a live video, right? Like, that wasn't a reenactment.
No. That was
the video from the cops. Yeah.
The video.
And she is like, I did not do anything. I was never in her car. I don't know anything about her car. I have never seen her car. Like,
well, I don't think that they've gotten there yet because we're skipping something.
We are?
Major.
What are we skipping? See, this is why you have to be all in.
No. What? When he goes back to his apartment and he goes to change and he opens his closet and he sees that his pistol is missing.
Yes.
And then someone is shot in a park.
Right.
And you'll be so shocked.
Oh my God.
It's Liz.
So we hear her 911 call come in saying she's been shot by someone that she doesn't know who, but it was a female. And they ran away. So the cops get out there and...
So the cops go there and they find her and they sort of let her, believe that they believe this theory. That Anne, I'm wondering, is her name Amy? Started with an A.
I think it's Amy. Did I have Amy written down?
I was calling her Anne. And now I'm wondering if I fucked up.
Oh, fuck.
Anyways, that Dave's ex-wife is like out to get her.
Yeah.
So this woman, we're supposed to believe that someone Dave dated for 2 weeks burned her house down.
Right.
And now his ex-wife is shooting her.
Yeah. So now the ex-wife is involved now all of a sudden too, which I think is really random. Like, okay.
Yeah, like, so she's trying to blame everything on her.
Yeah.
And the cops sort of let her think that, this is what's really happening. But in the meantime, they're investigating her fully. Yeah. They've put a GPS tracker on her car, and they find that that she's driving around
Amy's.
It's Amy. It's Amy.
Yeah.
Dang it. Sorry, Amy. That she's driving around Amy's house like
in circles.
Yeah. Multiple times a day.
Yeah. And then she calls the cops to find out. She's like, why haven't you arrested Amy? Why does she get to live with Dave? Because I think Dave moved back in because he was scared and wanted to protect his family. And she was like, why does she get to move back in with him? And now I'm just sitting here being shot and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my God, she sounds like really mad. So anyway, then the police find... a blood in Carrie's car that was what?
No, not yet. They haven't found the blood yet because she's adamant that she's never been in Carrie's car.
Right.
She's never done anything in Carrie's car. And then don't they find like sliced up clothes?
Yes.
In the house.
Yes.
And so things are just really crazy. Like they really, really escalate.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And the cops are almost certain that she's going to kill someone. And they suspect that she killed Carrie.
Carrie, yeah.
So they find... Why did I do that? They find blood in the car. They pull back the seats, like the upholstery on the seats, and they find it in the foam.
Right.
So what happened was she killed Carrie.
Yeah. Liz did.
Liz killed Carrie.
Yeah.
By stabbing her.
Yeah.
In the car.
In the car. And so Liz is the one who keyed her own car. Liz is the one who set her own house on fire and killed her own animals. Liz is the one that's been sending all these threatening emails and texts and calls all this time for years. All because she was obsessed with Dave, I think. I don't know. Why would she do that?
Mental illness.
Mental illness.
I mean, that's like the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met anyone ever in my life that would cause me to act that way.
Yeah.
Like, there is not a single man, woman, person that I've encountered where I'm like, this is the course of action I'm going to go down.
Right.
Like, no, absolutely not.
Right.
I'm not.
I don't understand. So she goes to court and she was found guilty. She was sentenced to life with no parole. She's at the Nebraska Correctional Center, continues to maintain her innocence to this day. And Dave now lives with his new girlfriend, Maggie. So crazy story.
It was
wild.
It was really wild. It wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah. And
the more we watched, I audibly gasped.
Right. It was insane. And then when I finally put two and two together that Liz was the one that burnt down her own house, it took me a while to figure out, wait, she's the one that then killed her own dogs too, and animals and Snake. I was like, okay, now I'm done. Like, you piece of shit. Now you've taken it too far. I got so sad at the end when the judge is reading the verdict, and he's like, they frame it like she's gonna get off, and then they're like, because he says we're sitting here at a murder thing with no body, with no weapon, with no, and you're like thinking, oh, he's going down the road. She's gonna get off.
And I'm gonna be fucking furious. I'm gonna have to hop on a plane and find this bitch. And then it all turns, and they're like, but. Yeah. So she did a trial by judge, I guess, then, right? As opposed to what? Jury? No. Was it jury? I thought it was just the judge. Oh, I don't know. Okay. I don't know what the rules are. Maybe I wasn't paying close enough attention. Yeah. I think it was just by judge. I don't think you can choose. You can choose. You can choose if you want to have a trial by judge or a trial by jury. Really? Mm-hmm. In the States. I don't know about other countries, but yeah. I didn't realize you could make that choice. I think you can choose. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 98% sure that you can choose if you want to have a jury or a judge trial. Can you choose to have a jury or a... I think, but isn't one of the, I was going to say one of the 10 commandments constitutional rights that you're entitled, you have the right to have a jury of your peers. Sure, but I think you can also choose one by judge, and people do that because... Oh, no, you're totally fucking right. I've never known this. Lawyers' folk wisdom often points to choosing a jury if a case has emotional appeal and choosing a judge if a case is complex and based off of technical legal questions. Right, because a jury may end up with a jury trial even if you prefer a judge trial because your adversary may have an independent right to request a jury trial. Yeah, but they do that because the jury, they don't know the law. So if you're going up there against it,
you're looking at the judge, like the judge knows the law. He's going to just look at the law. He's not looking at the emotional side of things that juries bring with them. And they're not like filling in the blanks, you know. He doesn't do that. The judge just, or he or she just looks at the facts, knows the law, and then makes the decision off of that. So that's why people choose a judge law sometimes, or a judge trial. Because juries just bring too much emotional, and they don't know the law, you know, like they just know what they've been told by the lawyer, but they don't know like section 2.85 of the judicial book 3 or whatever, you know, like they don't know any of that, like the judge does. So anyway, so I think I'd pick a trial by judge if I was on a jury, or on what, being tried. If I was being tried, I'd want to have a judge trial, not a jury trial.
I wouldn't.
No?
No. I want someone who can be emotionally swayed into believing in me. A judge isn't going to be emotionally swayed,
No,
right?
I know, but like
logical.
if you didn't do it and you want the facts, like, fuck, bring it on.
Oh, no, I was assuming I committed the crime.
I didn't put that out there yet.
I snorted. I was assuming I was guilty. So if I was guilty,
I would
wear a church wife Sunday dress.
Sure.
To just seem the most...
Yep. With your glasses
proper on. Yes, my glasses, a little hat maybe. Yep. I don't know all the rules. Just to seem the most innocent possible.
Yeah. So...
It was a good one. I highly recommend.
It was a good one. Yeah, go watch that. It's on Netflix.
Stalkers are the worst, man.
Stalkers are they that freaks me the fuck out.
Stalkers and ice picks to the ear, man. Those are.
And if you're a stalker with an ice pick,
oh, get the fuck out of here! Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Do not pass go.
Straight to jail.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Instagram at
The Murder Mamas,
Facebook,
The M Mamas,
Twitter,
The Murder Mamas,
email,
themurdermamas@gmail.com.
And if you like us and are happy with our content, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We would appreciate it. Bye. Bye.